Hey everyone, today I bring you a pretty long in the making video, which is my 5-in-1 mascara review for Maybelline Mascaras. If you aren't familiar with this series, I've previously done a video like this for, what did I do? L'Oreal and CoverGirl, so I'm going to link those below. I did put off doing the Maybelline one because I previously have had not such great experiences with most of the Maybelline mascaras I've tested. And that's another thing that I'll be linking below is previous Give It a Weeks I've done for Maybelline mascaras that I'm not obviously featuring here.
Those were, let me see, what have I done? I did Maybelline Great Lash, lots of lashes, Maybelline Illegal Length, Maybelline 1x1, waterproof, and Maybelline Mega Plush, which I did right when it came out.
The 5 I tried out today are these. A nice variety across the range. If you want to know my thoughts on these 5 mascaras, and keep on watching. I'm just going to go through these in order that I use them. I've been using these mascaras since October was when I bought this first one. So I did use all of these for at least a month. The first one I checked out, this is the Full and Soft mascara. I wrote down the claims for all of these mascaras so I could cover them. Claims for Full and Soft here is that it gives full, thick, healthy looking lashes, no brittle feel, thickening formula to soften and nourish, and it also mentioned that it's easy for removal. I would say that this mascara lived up to all of those claims. I'm going to have little clips I filmed of me just wearing the mascara, no other eye makeup, so that you can, see how it goes on. And so that will be running along with this while I talk about it. But yeah, it does give you really full, thick looking lashes. The mascara that I would most compare this to is the Full Definition by L'Oreal, because it really is a similar marketed product where it gives you just thick lashes that are just even from root to tip and look really beautiful. I will say I do like the L'Oreal Full Definition a little better. That is my all-time favorite mascara, so for me that's what all mascaras are going to be trying to live up to. This one does a really good job though. It comes pretty close. Some pros for this, it really does separate the lashes really well. Like, it's going to give you very flawless look. It's not going to look clumpy or spidery or anything like that. It's also very buildable. I think this is probably even more so than the L'Oreal one, and actually any mascara I've used. This is probably the most buildable mascara I've used. In the clip, I only did 2 coats. One day I was playing around with it, and I did 4 coats of it, which, I mean, it didn't look that great at 4 coats, but it wasn't terrible, and I was able to get to 4 coats, so I'll insert a picture I took of that. It looks good with either no makeup or lots of makeup, which I think is important because some days you're not going to want to wear a full eye look and some days you will, so it's good to have a mascara that looks good with both, and this definitely does to me. The last big pro is that it feels really good on. Like they said, it doesn't feel brittle at all. It feels really soft, like if you're sitting stroking your lashes, it feels good. Cons, this was a little wet to start. It wasn't unusable, but it was a little more wet of a formula than I personally like when I first got it. This one, while it does make your eyelashes look full and fairly voluminous, it's nothing crazy. It's kind of just a more natural volume. So I personally like that, but if you're looking for crazy volume, this wouldn't be your pick. So the last con is this is one that you really do have to work with. I found the times when I really loved the way this looked was when I really sat, and you probably saw in the clip, I really did wiggle this into each and every lash. It's not something you can just slap on and it's going to look amazing. You really do have to just take your time and work with it, especially if you're going to be building several coats, and my favorite way to wear this was with 2 coats on the top, 1 on the bottom. So yeah, it is something you have to work with. And so I don't know if I'd recommend this for beginners. I think this would be more for people who are more experienced with mascara. Next we have the Maybelline The Rocket Volume Express Mascara. This is, I think, one of their very popular mascaras in the classic like Volume Express type packaging. Just kind of the typical rubbery wand. Not my favorite kind of wand, but this one actually works very well. It has very little bristles, if you can see that. The claims it gives are that it gives you, I think it was 8 times more volume, clump-free, even application from root to tip, and it's supposed to be in rocket time, which gives me the impression that it should be a very easy mascara to apply. And I would actually agree with all of those claims. I don't think I got a lot of clumps. Out of all the mascaras here, this is the one I thought needed the least amount of work to make it look good. Like, you just kind of slap it on, And I think even in one coat, it gave me really nice lashes. So I did really like that about it. Mascara I might compare it to is the CoverGirl line of Lash Blast mascaras. I think all of those are pretty similar, and I would compare them to this. The brush is very similar to the original Lash Blast. And I would say I actually think I like this one better than the Lash Blast mask. For me, it gave more volume, and I just really was a little more, it kind of impressed me a little more. I mean, I do like the CoverGirl ones, but I think this one is a little better. We roll into some pros and cons. It does give you tons of volume. As it claims, it does really live up to that. Some mascaras don't. This one does give you a lot of volume. This one was the only one that I thought when it first came out of the packaging, I already really liked the formula. Like, it didn't need to dry out for me at all. Like I said, because of the ease of application, and that you can do one coat and it's good. It's really easy. It's not like the last one I talked about where you have to really work it into the lashes. Just a quick coat will look good. And it's a good balance of length, which I think is important for a volumizing mascara. Some of them just do the volume and it doesn't look very good because you obviously don't want just to have thick lashes, because if there's no length, it's going to look really awkward. So this adds a pretty good amount of length too, which makes it work really well. The big downside, which honestly this is kind of a huge one for me, is that this was very hard to remove. And I'm not talking like you had to work with it a little, like it refused to come off. Like, and that's something that really bothers me. If I wore this and then went several days without wearing makeup, say like 3 days, on the third day I would still wake up in the morning and be removing smudges under my eyes, because even when you think you get all this mascara, there's another very classic mascara from the Maybelline line. This is the Falsies, just the original brush that's kind of curved. This is not like quite as curved as maybe Clump Crusher or something, but it has that soft curve to it. And also you can see this has a flexible brush. As a lot of Volume Express mascaras in the littler packaging, I think almost all of them have a flexible brush. Something I want to point out with this one, when I filmed the clip for this one, it was when the mascara was quite old, like several months after I bought it. It's maybe not super accurate to what the mascara can do. But anyways, the claims for this one. It says the flexible wand lifts and separates lashes, gives 8 times more volume without clumps, and it's supposed to also be an instant kind of thing where it just works. I only agree with one of those claims, which is that it has a flexible wand that lifts and separates the lashes. Like, yeah, I would agree with that, but personally, I think the flexible wand is a bad thing, because when I apply mascara, I like to get into my lashes and really work it in. With this, it makes a huge mess if you do that, because it does have that flexible wand, so it just doesn't really get in there as well as I would like. I don't think I got like hardly any volume with this. It did kind of give me little clumps. I don't know why. I think it's just because it had a wet formula, and it also took it would take a lot of buildup for it, I think, to look good, and that's something I'm going to talk about in a second as well. Couple positives for this. It does give a more natural look. Since like I said, it doesn't give a ton of length or volume. This would be great for somebody just starting out with mascara, just something to pop on that's gonna give you some lashes but nothing in your face. My favorite way to use this was either over another mascara, or if I was already wearing false lashes, I would just use this because the brush shape somehow worked really well to get them on with false lashes. So some downsides in my opinion. It does almost nothing for volume. Like, I really did not find this gave me volume, and it doesn't really build at all. Like, when I tried to build it, I found the lashes looked the exact same coat to coat. So not too impressed with the Falsies. Maybelline Lash Stiletto, it's the one in this like stiletto packaging. Really do like this packaging. This is an older mascara by Maybelline, and you can see it has a very long and firm brush. The claims on this one are that it coats from every angle, removes easily, 70% longer, kind of a steep claim, but shiny pattern. I would agree with most of those claims. I thought it did coat from every angle. Like, this is a mascara that I find makes it very easy to get every lash. I think it's because the brush is so thin, you can really just like pull your lashes out, especially in that outer corner, which I like to do. It does remove fairly easily. The only one I wanted to note that was hard to remove was the Rocket one. It was a somewhat shiny finish. Nothing like hard to wear. It's just a little bit shinier maybe than your average mascara. And I don't really agree with it. 70% more length. It is a lengthening mascara, that's what it does, but 70% I don't think it does that. It's not that amazing at giving length that it makes your lashes look that long. So that claim, I think maybe they might have overreached. I have a pretty even amount of pros and cons. This gives your lashes a nice lift and curl all day. Like, I don't have problems with my lashes staying curled, so that's not something I can speak to. But for this one, I always felt like they were a little bit extra perky when I wore this mascara. It is very black. I would say of all these here, this was the formula that was the blackest. It's also buildable. I like this one best with 2 coats. I think it looks the most length and stuff. It does layer well with other mascaras. With the Falsies, my favorite way to wear it was using Lash Stiletto and then adding a little of the Falsies just to kind of add a little more fullness to the lashes. So yes, it does layer well with other mascaras. Like the Full and Soft, it's one you do have to work with. It's not one of those ones that you can just pop on and it's going to look amazing. This was the one that was the wettest upon buying it. It's too wet for my lashes, doesn't do much, and it also just makes a huge mess. So this one took me a few months to get to the level I liked it at, which is kind of sad because then you don't have as long wearing it once you really like it because it's already almost dry. Very messy due to the wet formula, and it was very black, so it makes a lot of smudges. I would compare this to the Telescopic Mascara by L'Oreal. In fact, a lot of my pros and cons are the same. That one was also very wet and messy. Given that there's another mascara on the market that claims a lot of the same things and works a little better, mascara, the one I am wearing today, is a new one by Maybelline. This is the Pumped Up Colossal. I do really like the packaging on this one, with the exception of the wand. It is a huge honker, and I don't like that. I mean, it's not that I want my brushes to be super small, but this one is just a little too big. It makes it kind of hard to work with. I had to clean up a ton of smudges today, as I do every time I wear this. So that's the downfall of that. It doesn't claim a whole lot. It says 16 times more volume and a colossal impact. Obviously, it doesn't give 16 times more volume. I don't know where they came up with that number. It claims to give double the volume that the Rocket claims, and I thought the Rocket gave more volume. So that claim was a little outrageous to me. I will say it does give a nice impact, though. If you can see this, since I'm wearing it, might as well show you. One coat here, and I think it gave a decent amount of impact. I've only owned this one for about a month, so unlike these others, I didn't have time to use it through the whole tube and see how it dried. And I have to say, even though I've only had it for a few weeks now, I find it's already dried to a really nice level for me. Like, it's still a little wet, but it's getting there. So I am interested in continuing to use this, and I will keep you updated, but I think this one will dry nicely. It does build some. I thought, you'll see in the clip, I think 2 coats built really nicely. The third coat was just getting way too clumpy and spidery. So it doesn't build forever, but it does build some. Even though it does give you full lashes, I don't find it's anything crazy in the volume department or crazy in the length department. It's just a nice lash. Some negatives. Also very wet and messy due to the huge wand. So, like, I'm talking very messy. I haven't had an application yet that hasn't had some crazy smudges, especially under the eyes. This is literally like no good under the eyes because it's just way too big a brush for that. Something about the way this applies, the volume is very much not even from root to tip. I mean, it doesn't claim that, but I think it's important for a mascara to look evenly volume throughout. This one kind of gives you volume at the root of your lash. This one didn't give me volume all the way to the tip of my lashes, so it kind of gave them a weird effect because the ends just looked very like sporadic and not so good. So that's something that I really don't like about this, and that's, I think, a big reason why it doesn't build as well as some of the other mascaras. I'm still kind of playing with this one, but from what I've used it so far, it's okay. I'm going to go ahead and rank these 5 in order of preference. Keep in mind, this is my personal opinion, my personal preference. Depending what you are looking for, you could feel differently. That's why I don't just rank them. I also go through all of the claims and the pros and cons. That way you can sit and maybe say, but this other one sounds like exactly what I want in a mascara, and that's totally fine. My favorite of the bunch is Full and Soft. I just love a separating and full mascara that especially because this one is so buildable. I think that's really nice because it also can give you a lot of volume as well. So I really love this one. The second pick is maybe actually the one that I might even recommend to more people. You already saw it. It's the Rocket. I really do love the Rocket. Promise I'm not going in order, but I loved the volume this gave. I loved how easy it was. The fact that it is so hard to remove is the thing that above all else knocked it below full install. This I think would be the one I would recommend to the most people because I think it's easy, especially for beginners, and I think overall it just gives a really nice look to the lashes. Lash Stiletto. I really do love the way this looked once I worked with it, once it dried out some. But what knocks it down below all the others is that it does take so long to dry out in the tube. And yeah, it's just a little messy for my taste. I don't think I would repurchase this one, but I did like it okay. And my fourth ranked one is the new one, the Pumped Up Colossal. And like I said, I feel part of what made this one kind of impress me more is the fact that it's already getting better even a month into it. So I am interested in continuing to use this one, and maybe I'll even like it even more as it dries. But I like this one okay. Again, like the Lash Stiletto, I don't think I would rush out and repurchase it, but it's not the most terrible mascara I have ever used. My least favorite of the bunch, you probably could tell just given the pros and cons, is the Falsies. This one, I know this is kind of shocking because this one is so beloved on YouTube, but for my lashes personally, it just did not work at all. It did like nothing. This is one that not only would I not repurchase it, but I would not, if somebody gave it to me, I would probably just re-gift it and give it to someone else because I know a lot of people love this. For me, it was absolutely terrible. One thing I want to point out with this is mascara, that and foundation are probably the two makeup products that are the most personal. And for me, some of these mascaras didn't work. People like, Makeup by Ali, Tanya Burr, other people, but those are the two that came to mind first, have raved about this mascara for years. And they're two people that I think have really amazing lashes in their videos and stuff. And Tanya Burr uses this like every video. So clearly it works for a lot of people. Be sure to go below if you have any Maybelline mascaras that you like. Be sure to tell us about them, including ones maybe that I didn't like. You can say why it worked for you better than me, and that's fine, and I think that would be helpful. And that's about it. I should cut this off because it's probably a very long video, as a lot of my chatty ones tend to be. I do kind of ramble. But I hope this was full of a lot of good information for you guys. If it was, be sure to like it below. Subscribe to see more from me. I'll be back in 2 days with a new video. Till then, I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day. Bye!